You're listening to the Mind Your Business podcast, episode number 25. In today's episode, we're answering a question from one of our listeners about dealing with negative people and negative environments. So, stay tuned.
Hi, I'm James Wedmore, and I've built a 7-figure internet business that offers the financial freedom to do what I want, when I want. And I'm the first to say that hard work and hustle are not essential ingredients for your success. So, how do you build a thriving business from the inside out? This is the Mind Your Business podcast, featuring myself and co-host Phoebe Mroczek. Welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast. I'm James Wedmore.
I'm Phoebe Mroczek.
And welcome to our brand new segment of our question of the week.
And this week's question comes from Coral Chipoendsle from Brisbane, Australia. And Coral asks, how do you deal with negative environments and negative people?
This is a good question. Thank you, Coral, for asking it, because I know you're not alone. I've spoken about this before. I think we've talked a little bit about it on the podcast. I think this is an opportunity for us to take it a little bit deeper because a lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs and business owners. They have personal brands. They put themselves out there on the internet. And man, sites like Facebook and YouTube are just like welcome mats for people to speak their mind. Good or,
and it can get ugly sometimes.
It can get ugly. And, at the end of the day, this is what holds a lot of people back. So here we are, not doing what we want in our lives, not creating or being the person that we want to be in our lives out of the fear of these negative environments and negative people, of what it means when someone criticizes you, puts you down, says your stuff is stupid or you don't know what you're talking about, and it gets worse and worse from there. And I've definitely had numerous instances of people who, just want to say things. A lot of them are just personal attacks, And
well, they say once you don't know that you've actually made it big until you have a couple haters. So
right. So bring it on, right? So how do you deal with this? Okay, well, the first thing I want to do is give you the opportunity to acknowledge how you are dealing with it right now, because you are dealing with it. It's just not working, or it's not effective, or it's leaving you powerless, or it's leaving you not taking action. So how are you dealing with it right now? When you see it, do you, bury your head in the sand? Are you fighting back and getting really angry and upset, and then it just ruins your whole day? How are you reacting to these negative people, comments, criticisms, or environments? Because I want to offer that right now, it's probably not working. And if you're one of our listeners who say, yeah, it's not working, if you want to start there and acknowledge that, then I'm going to invite you to just stay open and coachable and just receive the information we want to share with you in this answer. And because I want to offer that it's not working, it's simply because you're trying to fix or change something. And a lot of us have heard the phrase, what you resist persists. And anytime we try and fix them or fix ourselves, the problem is not going away. If someone says that you are stupid, and so you try harder to make videos where you sound smarter, the problem's still there. You're still going to get people that are going to criticize you for something, right? If you upset a few people because your content is edgy, and, maybe it pushes the boundaries a little bit, and so you try and soften your content a little bit, you've just got a whole new problem, right? So anytime we really try and fix or change the problem still exists. And you want to remember, what resists persists. So I kind of want to talk about this negativity from an energetic standpoint. We've done episodes on the past on things like law of attraction. So for our law of attraction peeps, you're going to really understand this really quickly and easily. But what I want to offer is that a negative environment, a negative person, or a negative comment directed towards you is simply a reflection of the thoughts and feelings that you already have inside of you. Whoa. Okay, so that's where we lost some people there. Some people are rejecting this and saying, nope, that doesn't sound right. Okay, and this is where I'm encouraging you to stay open for a second. So
well, I think, one thing that I was going to say is obviously when you're hanging on to it, it's if somebody came up to you and said, hey, James, you have blue hair, because that's not true.
I would think they're crazy.
You would think I was crazy. You would never. And I think you give the example of like the homeless person on the side of the road that yells something at you that's just so outrageous that you would never that would never resonate with you. But if someone says, oh God, that sounds really stupid. Well, if you've ever had the thought that like, oh, maybe that sounded stupid, it's going to come out and all of a sudden it's amplified.
Right. That's a fear that you already have, is sounding stupid. And you want to pay special attention to the words and phrases that people, the comments and criticisms that are really triggering you, that are making you especially upset, because there is something there active in your vibration and in your brain that you've already gone there in the past, that you already have a fear around it. So you have an active vibration of, you know, what we want to call negativity. It's not negative or positive. It just is, but you react to it because it's already there in you first. And it's something that you are resisting. It's something that you don't want to be known as this, or you're really upset if someone would call you that because you fear yourself that you're going to look that way in front of people, or be that way, or not be good enough, or not be worthy enough. And so all that's happening here is you're simply on a subconscious level attracting someone that's bringing that out, that's pointing that out for you. And if you are still with me, and not think I'm a crazy person when I say this, then this is how you fix it, because this is a much easier way. And again, it's not how you fix this, it's how we overcome this, or how we transcend the negativity, right? Because if we try and fix or change them or us, what we resist persists.
Now, let me just ask you a question on that. If someone does attack you, I know that I was always taught it's something inside of them. It's really their issue. Would you agree with that partly? Or is this more obviously because we can change our behavior, we can change our thought patterns, and we should be taking responsibility for our own thoughts? Is that more of what it is? Or do you still think that sometimes when people get upset and angry, it could be something that's triggered in them as well?
I think it's both. I don't think this is an either or thing. I think these two sides of the same coin. You know, in the 4 agreements, one of the agreements is don't take things personally, right? And so at the end of the day, that's a good thing to add to this too. But what I'm saying here, what I'm proposing here, is that if Phoebe puts out a post on, you know, how to be awesome, and someone says, you're stupid, that we can agree that, yeah, this person's got their own stuff going on. Totally. Because, you know, like we've brought this up before, like Superman is like so awesome and he has so many powers. Like he doesn't go around leaving negative comments on people's blogs like you're stupid. Got that. But if we then throw in all of this law of attraction stuff, this might be their thing that they've got going on. But your fear, your deep down thing that you're trying to fix of making sure, I hope when I post this, no one thinks I'm stupid, is attracting that same person. It's attracting that person with their own thing. Okay. Does that make sense? To me, it's the same thing. This is just another angle of looking at it. Here's something to try out. This is hard because we have our own egos that want to keep us right, want to keep us safe, and you know, we want to make everyone else wrong so that we can stay right. I mean, that's all it is. That's all of this is everybody wants to be right, but people think that someone else has to be wrong for them to be right, and then we have fighting, arguing, criticism, negativity, and crap like that. So when a negative criticism comes in for you, when someone attacks anything about you, and you react to it, like your initial reaction is going to be something that it hurts, that it's, you want to point first, like, what is my initial reaction when this happens? Do I bury my head in the sand? Do I close the laptop and not want to deal with work at all today? Do I want to fight them immediately? Do I want to, accuse them and crucify them publicly? What do I want to do? Like, what's the natural way? And you want to kind of create some space in between that, where you're like, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now, but let's pause for a moment. You want to try and create some space to let that the initial way that you show up to just kind of like cool it for this time, right? The normal reaction. And you want to recognize and accept that this could be a thought or feeling that you have at one point told yourself, that someone else is just bringing forth like a mirror, something that has gone on or is going on inside of you at one point. Even if it's only like 1% of your cells believes like, yeah, you're stupid, or that you're afraid people are going to think you're stupid, or if, you want to be the smartest person in the room because you don't want to be anything less than that. And then you get this comment of like, who are you to say anything? You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. So I think that's really the first piece. This person, it's nothing personal. It's not an attack on you. It doesn't mean anything to you. What if this was simply the universe pointing out the active vibration that you have within yourself, and that is it? And if that were the case, this is like having a warning engine light coming on in your car. So you're driving on the freeway, that blinking light comes on. It's saying that the car needs repair. It doesn't mean you're broken, you're bad, you suck, you're not worthy. It's just saying, hey, heads up, this is what's going on right now. And what if we treated it like that? What if we treated it as like kind of just this like warning light of like, hey, here's a little bit about what's still active in your vibration. Here's what's going on with you. Then you get to just accept it for what it is. And you actually get to thank this person or experience for bringing that up for you, for giving you the opportunity of where we can still grow, of how we can still learn, stretch ourselves, and step into someone new. Then that would be step one, is really accept it as what's going on within us, and then really thanking this person or experience. That is very hard to do because our ego is going to want to just think and say and do awful things to this person. And then we want to say, why? Why did someone's words, complete stranger, why did what someone typed on the internet make us want to do and feel these things? And we have to come back because at some level we resonated with a fear of that being true for ourselves. And it's another episode to find why that fear is so strong for some of us, you know. So then from there, if you can really accept that, acknowledge that, show gratitude, send love and energy to that person for being of service to you, really, because they were a lesson for you, then we just stay in the question of what feelings, beliefs, and emotions do you want more of? And how can you come from more of that place? Okay, so at the end of the day, how do we deal with negative environments and negative people? If we can discover for ourselves that we are the cause and source of our environment, which includes people, places, and things, everything that we see, how we see it, then we have the ability to shift that, because there is no negative environment. There is no negative person. That is a decision or a choice that we make. Everything just is what it is. And a great example of this, which I remember kind of learning this in college, was my Econ 101 professor would talk about the weather. He says, it blows my mind when the weatherman comes on. He says, good news, it's going to be a great day today. There's no rain. He goes, what are you talking about? I love the rain. That sounds like a bad day to me. You know, I love the rain. And then when the weatherman comes up and says, sorry, guys, it's a gloomy bummer day. It's going to be raining all day. He's like, what? I love the rain. So we are all choosing what is good, what is bad, what is negative, and what is positive. And we really want to look at, you know, why we're doing that and realize that we can shift that at any moment. So I took you down a little bit of the rabbit hole there. What do you think, Phoebe? Did we answer that question?
Yeah, I love that. I think the warning light, you know, some of your examples are just very visual for me. And so when I hear that, I love that that doesn't necessarily mean that you are broken or that you're bad or something terrible is going on inside of you, but taking that as more of like okay, here's a little bit of a red flag. Go back and acknowledge that and figure out what it is that's deep down inside of you, or kind of how you're going to shift this. And I really like that example. One quick thing is when you do start to, I guess, process all of this and you see maybe that, you know, maybe there was a deep down fear that I'm stupid, then what? So you like acknowledge that. And then what does that next step look like?
I think if you really went down this rabbit hole and you did this work, you would find that you're not.
Is that just through like affirmations and through all of the other work that we're doing, you know, all the meditations and stuff that we're talking about on the podcast? And so that just like builds on itself.
Well,
and
I think there's a couple things. First of all, I think you've opened up a door to a much bigger conversation,
right,
which I just kind of want to peek our heads in for a moment. But, you know, I believe, first of all, two things here is that I believe in a construct of reality where we are all worthy, where we are all loved, and there is no like bad or wrong, or we either label as ourselves or, you know, we've got from our parents or experiences in our lives. Okay. And I really believe that if people do the work, they're not going to come out on the other end and say like, oh, I am stupid. They're going to discover the opposite, that things in their life have happened. Maybe they had really strict parents that, pushed them so hard that they had a fear that their parents wouldn't love them if they didn't get straight A's, and that, school isn't their strong suit, or math isn't their strong suit. That doesn't mean someone is any less worthy of being a human or being loved or being appreciated or being worthy because they weren't good at math or whatever, And for myself, I love that I have some strengths that I am really proud of, really, confident in. And I also embrace the fact that there are a lot of things that I could never do, that I'm okay with not being good at, that some things I'm really awful at. And this is a place of coming from acceptance. I don't think anybody would ever, if they really did this and hopefully keep listening to the podcast, come to a conclusion of, well, I suck. It's actually quite the opposite. And I think at the end of the day, to bring this whole full circle, that's the underlying message that I have for everybody here, is that we start a business coming from these beliefs of lack and inadequacy. And so when someone tells you you got to hustle, you interpret hustle as prove your worth. Work to the bone and sacrifice your health, your relationships, every area of your life to prove that you're good enough. And the thing is if you come from that place, you'll never reach the destination. You will never reach a destination where you are good enough, where you have been deemed worthy. Look at all the hours I have logged. I now am officially worthy. It's never going to happen, and so that's why we really wanted to spit in the face of hustle, not because we don't believe in hustling, but because most people hear that and they believe that it means sacrifice and hard work coming from a place of lack, coming from a place of fear, lack of worthiness, lack of confidence, and a lack of power. And you will never get that from following that path, guaranteed. You'll one day wake up and realize that you've hustled so damn hard and worked so hard and you've hit a bottom, and you'll say, enough is enough. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be an easier way. And you realize that there is. So I want to thank Coral for the great question. Such a simple question, and it just opened up so much great conversation here. I hope you guys all found this valuable.
So if you have a question or a suggestion for a topic for the podcast, we'd love it if you would just go ahead and jump over to mindyourbusinesspodcast.com. And there's a link there where you can fill out a little survey, and we will hopefully have you featured on a future episode.
And if you haven't left a review on iTunes yet for the Mind Your Business podcast, I invite you to do that now. You can visit jameswedmore.com/iTunes as a quick redirect to our podcast on iTunes. Leave your review there. Phoebe and I look at each and every one of them and absolutely love the feedback and comments that are coming through. So thank you everyone for listening, for supporting the show, and we'll see you on the next episode. Are you frustrated that no matter how hard you hustle, no matter how much you get done in a day, you still feel like you have little results to show for it? Do you feel like you're doing everything right, but there's still something missing? Well, what if there was an easier way? What if your business could be fun, effortless, and profitable? Phoebe and I have put together a free audio MP3 for you, compiling the 77 business affirmations for creating success from the inside out. And we want to give it to you absolutely free. This is your chance to rewire your brain for bigger results in your life and your business. To get instant access absolutely free, simply visit 77affirmations.com. That's the number 77affirmations.com.